Hello, anatomy students. Welcome to the frog dissection. If you were here at Newark Charter School for 7th grade, this is when we dissected the frog. I have heard that other schools do it in 6th grade, some do it in 8th grade, some don't do it at all. So I wanted to do it today just to give you some examples of best dissection practices and technique, and then also to show you how we can use various organisms in a way as a comparative anatomy, instead of trying to constantly show you images online or in textbooks, to just constantly talk about the human body. But there's a lot that other organisms can do for us so that we can have that hands-on experience. Because obviously we can't always have a hands-on experience with the human body. As far as the frog goes, they have the 5 major systems that we covered the other day. And that's what we're going to focus on today, is labeling those 5 major systems. So if we were in the building, I would give each of your groups a frog, and then I would task you with, trying to identify its anatomy and its organ systems. We're not really necessarily focusing on all the structures like we did in 7th grade. We're focusing on the systems because that's really what we do here in this course. We start with terminology, then we go to tissues, and then we talk about how those tissues come together to make the systems, and we'll cycle through those systems 1 through 5 that we did last class. So for our frog, I'm going to start using some of our directional terms. You can see that this frog's ventral surface is pointing down. That means it was on its belly, so there's its ventral surface, okay? And then here's its dorsal surface. The first system that we get to is on the outside of this frog, and in the human body it encompasses the skin and the pores and the nails and the hair. No hair on our frog, but our frog does have pores. Their pores are a lot smaller than ours. Any of their membranes, I don't know if you can see this, I'm going to try to get it up. So we've got an eyelid, and then we have a nictitating membrane, because frogs have 2 layers over their eyes. And that is also included in this system. So the first thing I would have you do is try to label that system. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys try to guess what that system is, what I'm pointing to. And I have 2 frogs, so this is the outer layer. I have 2 frogs, one that's partially dissected, and here I've taken some of it off of its ventral surface. Okay. And I'll lift it up too. So right here, what is the system that I'm pointing to? Okay, when I paused the video and asked around, I hope that everybody agreed that the system is the integumentary system. Okay, so I'm going to slide this label into my frog's skin to label the integumentary system. Okay, underneath that layer is a very fibrous and large system that aids in movement. Okay, so I'm going to swap this frog out with the one I had started to dissect, and you can see I've removed part of the integumentary system. The typical tools I would use are scissors, okay, a scalpel blade. So you'll find I use the scissors much more than the scalpel blade, a blunt probe, and a pointer or a pointy probe, okay? And then this tray is a dissection tray that's got wax in it. A lot of times people ask me if it's ice to keep the frog cold. It's not, it's wax so that I can stick pins into it, okay? See how I stuck my probe down into it. All right, so the next system that I have reached, I've taken off the skin, and now you can see I have a fibrous layer here, and I have a fibrous layer on the outside of my major organs right here, and then all lining everything underneath the skin. Now this is one of the strongest systems of a frog because they're so active, and the largest organ or part of that system is located around the frog's legs and their thighs here, because they do a lot of jumping. So let's see if I can lift it up. Okay, so we can actually get between some of these, and I can show you. So what I'm doing right here is I'm removing some of the connective tissue. We also can call it fascia. Okay, so I'm removing the connective tissue that is binding parts of this together to show you how wonderful the system is on this frog. Okay, I'm almost there. I'm going to show you a couple pieces. Unfortunately, our videographer had to step out, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way, which is just keep lifting it up to show you. Okay, so here I don't want to say what it is, but here I've separated them out, and you can see the layers of this system. Okay, so take a minute to try to figure out what that system is. And I hope that you guys all agreed that it's the muscular system, which is why I didn't want to tell you what it was, because that would, give it away, because those are muscles. Okay, and we have various kinds of muscles, but it's really the easiest system to label. All right, I'm gonna flip my buddy around. And I don't know yet whether it's a male or a female, because it's hard to say until you get inside. I have already opened up the top layer of muscles, like a barn door, and you can see there's just a lining of muscle all through the abdomen. Okay, so all of that is muscles lining the skin and allowing for this frog to be so strong in its jumping. Its abdominal walls are very, the abdominal muscles are very strong as well. Okay, the next thing that I'm gonna do is continue to cut through. So one option for me is I wanna make it so that you can see it the best way possible. Okay, one option for me is to pin back that muscular layer, because like I said, I already cut off the integument system for most of it. Okay, so that keeps it in place, and then try to listen. I'm gonna sever something, another system. Okay, can you hear that? It's really tough, and if you were here, you would be able to hear me breaking open this protective system. So this system provides support, it provides protection, and what it's protecting for us is our chest cavity. Okay, so I just broke open the ribs. Let me make sure that I didn't take an organ with it. Let me see if I can reveal the ribs here. Okay. Okay, so this part is really hard, and you probably heard me snap it and break it. Okay, and I am not able to put a pin through that system. It's so hard. Okay, so what we're gonna do is have you tell me what the system is that houses our ribs and our femur and our, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank, our skull, okay? So all of our bones. What system is that? Right, And if I can, I'm going to label it. I hope you guys said skeletal system. So sometimes I can get in, oh, no. Sometimes I can get in the middle of the bone. Okay, so I labeled skeletal system. Okay, skeletal system, all right. I am gonna have to remove that because it's kind of getting in our way. We have labeled 3 systems, and then we've got 2 more to go. And I'm gonna start going through one that we can actually start to see on the outside of the body. So if I start with the mouth, let's see if you guys can see that. Okay, so the mouth is the first part of this system that I'm getting at, and I'm trying to open it up so that you can look in there. And in order to do that, when we're dissecting, there's a level of respect for the creature, but then also, you know, realize that it's here to teach us. So I'm not hurting it. It's already passed. It's preserved and ready for me to show you its parts. All right, what I'm lifting up, this is not shaped anything like ours because ours is attached at the back of our throat, but this is the frog's tongue, and it'll come out and trap that bug. Okay, it's huge, huge tongue. Mouth, there's different kinds of teeth. There's a fomarian teeth that helps kind of crush the bugs before they swallow them. There's some teeth out on the edge. Okay. You can feel them if you were here. Those are called the maxillary teeth. And then we go into the esophagus. Okay, there are 2 routes here, 2 channels that we can go in. One's the esophagus, and that's going to go all the way down. Okay, and it's going to be deep in here. I'm not going to try to get to it because I'm making a mess here. But it's going to travel through under these lobes. Let's see. Till we get to the stomach, which is right here. I don't have enough hands. Okay, hold on a second. Let me unpin myself. I made my frog. This is not the easiest thing to do by myself. Okay, so right there, what I'm pointing to, that's the stomach, and it goes to the major part of the stomach, which is where all of the organisms' stuff is digested, and then it travels to the, are you ready? I'm trying to get it out of there without destroying everything. There we go, small intestine. And then I'm sure you remember, after the small intestine is the large intestine. Okay, which then goes to the colon. So here's the small intestine, large intestine, and then the colon to the outside of the body where the feces is removed. One fun thing I like to do is take the stomach out. And I think I told you what the name of the system was called when I was talking. So go ahead, we'll name that system. And guess what? I did not make a tag for it. So I'm going to take my gloves off. And I hope that you called it the digestive system because it digests the food. so I'm gonna stuff that. I'll put my gloves back on because I am gonna be proper, but if you guys know me, I tend to forget to put my gloves on, and I don't have any skin interactions with the preservatives. Okay, so before I go any farther, let's label our digestive system. Okay, and let's see what the last thing our frog had to eat. So I am going to cut out the stomach. Okay, so we've got to break up some of this connective tissue in order to get it out. I'm trying really hard to not damage anything else before we talk about it. It might have to wait. There we go. Okay, so you guys can't see me now, but I am wearing a lab coat and goggles because I tend to be very messy when I do this, and the juices are flying. Okay, and it's not frog juices, it's preservative, and so that would be bad to get sprayed in your eye. All right, I am cutting open the frog's stomach. Oh yeah. All right, so I found a beetle, like a little carapace. It's just the wings of the beetle. Let's see if you guys can see that. Okay, so it was intact, but then I broke it when I grabbed it out. So we've got the frog ate a little beetle. And what's that? Another little beetle part, probably more to its abdomen. And that's it, nothing more fun in there. Okay, so that's it, cool. All right, so we've done digestive system. All right, the next thing that our frog has is these little holes called external nares on the outside of its body. And let's see, so much like your nostrils, okay, so there's one, and that provides one route of getting oxygen in and carbon dioxide out, okay, and then there is the trachea located in the mouth for it to also breathe. Frogs are unique, they also can breathe through their skin. Their pores are very, very active in aiding in their cellular respiration. Okay, so we've talked about the nostrils, we've talked about the trachea, and then this organism, just like humans, have two lungs. And that's these guys right here, these little pink, tiny. I mean, their lungs are so much smaller compared to other parts of their body. Okay, and that just has to do with their level of breathing and how they breathe. Okay, so here we go. So these little pink parts on either side, one here and one there. Okay, that's it. So what system am I referring to when I'm talking about the lungs and getting oxygen in the body? Okay, we call that system the respiratory system. So I'm going to label, oh boy, my label is nasty. So I labeled my lungs respiratory system, okay? All right. Now, the last thing to get is often very petite, but not this one. This one is actually in good shape. Okay. So this organ is usually harder to come by. Let me just double check something real quick. It's usually nestled here in the liver. So they have 3 lobes of liver. Okay, we refer to the liver as part of the excretory system because it kind of works with filtration from digestive and urinary. So it works for both. So like drinking and eating. Okay, so right here in my hand is a teeny tiny little muscle. Okay, they've taken it out of the muscular system because it has a much more important role. Its role is to pump oxygenated and deoxygenated blood in and out of the body. Okay, and this is one of the last systems that we do in this class before we go into any of the special systems. And so what I'm holding here is the heart, and other parts of the system you can see are dyed blue. That's just the color choice that they used, but then you can also see that there's some dyed red. Okay, so there's this common misconception that your blood is blue until it's oxygenated, and that is a lie. Your blood is all the same color as it moves through your body, but the reason why this misconception came about is because of these preserved organisms. So these vessels that are supposedly delivering deoxygenated blood are just for teaching purposes. Our blood is all the same color, and so is your frog. And frog blood is generally like a muddy clear color, much similar to its guts. Anyway, so these vessels that deliver oxygenated and deoxygenated blood, arteries, veins, vessels, and the heart all belong to which system? Okay. We will call it different times. Hopefully you said either cardiovascular system or circulatory system. You'll often hear circulatory system because it circulates everything through the body. All right. So that's it for what I wanted us to do today. If we had more time, which we can, I will continue to video so that maybe you could watch the rest at home if you'd like, is to start to explore this frog a little bit more. Okay. So here's the gallbladder, which is kind of fun to look at. And I don't see any fat bodies. So frogs typically have fat bodies to help them in the water to stay warm, and then to also aid in floating and sinking and being in the water. Let's see. And I'm thinking we have a boy because I don't see any eggs, except for that might be eggs. The cool thing about frogs, and you know what, it's true for all organisms, is they're a tiny bit different inside. The map is the same, but the size, the amount are all a tiny bit different, which makes being a doctor quite an amazing feat because every human has a little bit different stuff going on with them. And potentially this frog, if it were a female, already laid its eggs. So I do think that it is a female because I'm seeing the female structures that carry and store the eggs, and that's the squiggly stuff. Okay, but usually we see a lot more eggs. So I'm trying to get deeper just to make sure, because you know I could be wrong. If I could be sure and cut open another frog. Okay, I found the bladder. And I'm just taking it all out here to look underneath. Yep, it's definitely a female because there's no testicles or testes. Okay. All right. Was it focusing on it?
Mm-hmm.
And then we can be done. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Miss Arif.
Thank you. Let's say goodbye to your frog. This one's going back in the bucket. Goodbye.
Using the muscular system and the skeletal system in order to do that.
Yeah. Oh, did I do the skeletal system? Yeah, I did. Have a great day. Thanks for hanging.